Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Sam, and I'll be doing the video for December 14th, 2020. So in this video, I'd actually like to talk to you guys a little bit about market risk. It'll be a two-part quick video, but we're going to talk about a few names that I think look pretty good here going forward. I'll give you about three names that I'm looking at to get, going forward, and then I'd like to actually start with market risk. And the biggest risk that I'm seeing in the market right now, going into the end of the week. Keep in mind that it is Quad Witching week, which means these only happen 4 times a year, and this Friday will be one of those times, and it might be the biggest one of the year. And it usually is a good week for premium selling and not always a great week for fully directional trades. So that's kind of the approach that I'm taking. But I'm also monitoring the VIX here just to see if there's any potential problems that could pop up. And it's not out of the woods yet, right? So I'm going to show you three charts here that look great and I think are buys. But I do want to start off with kind of the potential risk that's out there, and it's VIX. So if you look at VIX here, you see this previous low on the weekly chart back here before it made the move. Well, we're right back down to these levels here. That's what those dotted lines are. And you see that on the daily chart, it's been holding as support, right? Now, the downtrend had been contained by the daily 8, but when the daily 8 breaks, you go to the 21. When you break the 21, you go to the 50, right? And if you were to break the 50, you'd go to the 200. And you can see if you kind of follow that process, it breaks the 8 here, and then it breaks the 21 here, right? And it kind of has its eyes set on the 50. Now, why is this important? Well, if you look underneath the market, you see all of this down squeeze, that all that energy to the downside. That's all reversed back to being neutral. So this is where it gets another energetic push from. It gets it gets energetic pushes from these types of setups. And the risk here in the market is that you start to break this 50-day, which is at 26 on VIX, and it triggers this daily squeeze to go higher, right? And in that event, it could take it up to about 30 to about 32, anywhere in here, right? And if that were the case, it would cause stocks to more than likely drop. Right. So I could show you the indexes, but at the end of the day, I think this is kind of the cleanest, most in your face signal for market risk. So just appreciate that, going forward in your own trading. Because again, there's a lot of stocks that look good, and we'll look at two or three here together, but not everything is out of the woods yet. So with that out of the way, let me bring you a couple picks here. The first one's going to be apps. So nice continuation play here on apps. Very strong and probably one of the most explosive setups that I have to bring you this week. It's still coiled up. It's not actually overbought yet. On the weekly, it's starting to get a little overbought, but on the daily, it actually has room to above 50. And you see the volume that came in today. So you triggered your 130-minute squeeze. You have a 4-hour or 195-minute squeeze in your back pocket, and you have this daily low compression squeeze as well. So I don't necessarily want to chase apps, but anywhere on pullbacks, especially back to the moving averages, and you can see I left an alert there, on daily moving averages would be a buy. So the earliest that I'd want to buy it is probably, 46, but that would be a fantastic entry. A much better entry is 45 to about 44 here on apps, and you look to take it above 50 going into January. Very strong setup on apps here. And the good thing is it's not, Amazon, right? And Amazon did great today, but it's not a stock that necessarily needs a lot of index help. Next up is PayPal. So we've been on PayPal for a while here, and I think this is the move that takes it into this confluence level at 227. So ran a couple of Fibonacci levels here, and always looking for confluences. And you can see that there's a confluence up here at 227, 227 and a half. And I think that's where PayPal wants to go. So here on PayPal, you don't have a daily squeeze, but you do have daily trend. And you have a fresh 130-minute squeeze after this momentum purge and reset, which is perfect. Not only that, but you got above this 219 resistance level, and you did so on good volume. The last thing I'll say about PayPal is it has a perfect weekly setup. So if you're looking for anything that has a weekly setup on your own, it should look like this. If it doesn't look like this, well, this is pretty idealized, but it should look like this, some version of this. And this is a perfect weekly setup. So 227 is my first target on PayPal, but I actually think it ends up going a lot higher as long as the indexes hold up. So very strong chart, perfect weekly, should be pretty high on your watch list. And I'll give you one more, and this one's a little bit more speculative, but it has a great setup. And it's going to be SPWR. The reason I say it's more speculative is because it has high short interest. And it's near the highs, but it has high short interest. So really what's been driving the stock is really more a function of just shorts being squeezed. But you see here how it was riding the 8 and the upper Bollinger all the way up? That's perfect. And then look what happens afterwards. It gets a little too hot, comes back down from the upper Bollinger, lands on the 21, and scoops out this bottom here, right? That is just rather perfect. Good volume coming in, average to above average volume. And in doing so, you reset your momentum, and now you're back in a daily squeeze. So you have a weekly uptrend, right? The most aggressive trend possible, which is the 8. That gets a check. The daily is in a fresh squeeze, rounding out at the 21, which is perfect. The 130 minute has a squeeze, and the 195 minute has a squeeze. So just think about this. There's a lot of shorts in this name, and they probably all have stops right above the previous highs, right? So this is kind of now the perfect setup to stop hunt them and to start picking up the stops here and then eventually up here above a new fresh high. So SPWR is the most speculative one that I brought you, but it doesn't come without merit. Very strong chart. It's in the right sector, and I think you do want to continue to focus on these types of names like solar, and then kind of the mid to small cap techs make a lot of sense to me here as well. So just 3 quick picks, and then just a reminder, guys, that it is Quad Witch. Watch your VIX. Try to do premium selling ideas on this week because that's usually what happens on Quad Witch. And mind your risk, as always. All right, guys, thanks for spending some time with us. Hope to see you in the room sometime, simplertrading.com. Check us out. You'll get a chance to see us trade live and trade with us, so that's always nice. And aside from that, I'll see you for the next video, guys. Have a great night. Cheers.